And then he just starts messing around with nollie 540s. And then he starts spinning nollie 540s off the flat wall. I've never seen anyone try it. And then he starts nollie 540, grabs it. Within probably 10 tries, he made a nollie melon 540. NBD, never been done. We're all like, what happened? And then
You just got in the car and
takes
left.
off his pads. He's like, hey, good to see you guys. Bye. Hello.
Oh, mate.
What's up, hey, everybody.
Oh, mate, it's bullshit. I'm
How's it
Jason
going?
Ellis.
Now we're at the point where I'm doing his imitation of me, and he's doing
I'm
my
doing Tony
imitation
Hawk's
of
version
his.
of Jason Ellis.
It's very meta.
Oh, mate, I'm Jason Ellis. I'm bullshit. You got to talk like this too, out of the side a little bit.
Hey, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on. Like and describe. Cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger. It is kind of similar.
Hey, I'm Tony Hawk. Hey.
I'm getting better at it because I'm working on it now. I'm practicing. It's in my comedy.
Anyway, segue. Welcome, Alphonzo Rawls.
Yes.
Our guest today. Our esteemed guest.
Hello, everyone.
We're not.
Yeah.
We can't. We can't imitate you. You sound too
Yeah,
cool.
you just sound like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, that's kind of difficult. I can't do an elf.
Can't nail me down, huh?
Can't nail me down, huh? I don't know.
No,
Pretty quiet.
you
Pretty
can. You know,
quiet.
you can text like him. Do it in all caps.
Oh, yeah. There
Yeah,
you
why
go.
do you do that?
Because my eyes are getting bad, and it's easier for me to see and kind of follow
It
along what
always
I'm
feels
doing.
like Alfonso is yelling at you,
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard that before.
I was under the impression that those caps meant that I was in trouble,
No,
or that
no,
he's
not
just
at all.
really excited.
Yeah.
Right.
Tell you
Which-
about the graphic.
which usually for me means I'm in trouble. It's never caps like, Jason, good news. It's more like, motherfucker. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you know what?
yeah.
It's crazy. Some people get rubbed the wrong way by doing that, and so I've got to kind of carry on the conversation for a few, you know what I mean, exchanges where people realize, oh, he
He goes
just-
all caps.
he just types in all
Yeah.
caps.
No, I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
your eyes
I'm
are
not yelling
kind
at
of
you.
your eyes are kind of bad, but you see into the future of fashion.
I don't know about that. I don't think fashion has any rules, so I kind of make up my own rules in a way. And then also, you know, in addition to that, I mean, we've got the internet. You know what I mean? I'm kind of inspired by everything that I look at, so I draw inspiration from just about anything.
People that don't know, Alf's been pro for as long as I have, so we're pretty old. And he was on H Street and really good, very talented professional skateboarder, one of the best. But then all of a sudden, I didn't really know. I'm like, wait, you're saying Alf designed some of these DC shoes? I didn't know that. Wait, you're saying Alf designed that Duff shoe? I didn't know. I'm like, wait, Alf's not even on Duffs. Like, I'm just not figuring out that you could just have a career as a shoe designer, you
Right.
dumbass. And I was like, wait, he's not even on DC. It's like, yeah, dude, he's a shoe designer. And I'm like,
Right.
and then some of the shoes were the shoes that I was rocking because I was on Duffs. And I was like, these shoes are sick. I remember one of my friends, Gregsy, you stole my shoes from my house at my parents' house because your prototypes came in the mail
Uh-huh.
and there was like more of the wider DC shoe for Duffs. And I was like, these are sick. And Gregsy loved them. He was like, those are so sick and they're my size. And then in the morning they weren't there. And I was like, dude, you gotta ask. Like, I would give you shoes, but you can't just take stuff. I really wanted those, but you've always been good at designing shoes from the get-go. Is that because you had a pro model and you found a natural skill at designing your own pro model, or were you already a designer?
Well, you know what?
In school or
Even
something?
before I started skateboarding, I was always doing art, and I always had kind of an eye for, you know, fashion and design and all things creative. And so the beginning of my skateboard career was actually the beginning of my design career, because now, you know, being sponsored and stuff like that, now gave me a platform for my artwork and my designs. And how the footwear design part of it came about was I had an opportunity back in '95. I was approached by an upstart footwear brand by the name of Castell, who gave me the opportunity to design a signature shoe.
Why did they know that you were a guy to come to about designing a signature shoe?
I don't
Like,
know
what was the
that
word
they
from
know.
your skateboard graphics?
I don't know that they knew. I think that they just wanted me for whatever reason they wanted me. I mean, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking I could think about
They wanted you as a pro skater.
They wanted me as a
firstly.
pro skateboarder. Yeah, no, that was the whole deal. They wanted me as a pro skateboarder, and
Yeah.
they were going to give me a signature shoe. And as a part of the deal,
Oh.
they were going to give me the opportunity to design my signature shoe.
And people that don't know, when you're a pro skateboarder, even myself has been a part of designing a shoe from scratch. And I can tell they give you an option to be
yes.
to be completely involved in this. And I could tell right away, I was like, oh, yeah, mate, just put that on. You know, I don't. And they're like, what about what the lace? I'm like, I don't fucking stop asking me shit about just put it on. I don't care. Just put my name on it and give me the check. And then you were obviously
Cup
like,
what? What are you talking about?
Right, yeah. All the little
Should
things.
put a soul on it. Damn it.
Yeah, but you probably were like, oh wow, sold this. You could do that. You different materials, and you were like in 100% from the get go. Correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, see, the tough thing with me and having an opportunity to design a signature shoe, I have a pretty eclectic fashion sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in the way that I dress and the music that I listen to and stuff like that. So you give someone like me an opportunity to design one shoe that I think best represents me, I'm kind of all over the place. I can't just submit you one shoe.
Okay.
And so what ends up happening is then I end up drawing like 10 designs, out of which I got my signature shoe, and then other designs that end up being used in their footwear collection.
Did you accidentally have 10 designs from trying to make your perfect shoe? Or you were like, not only did I make my shoe, but here's like 9 others.
No,
and they were like, whoa, we'll make all of those.
I came up with 10 designs because I was so indecisive. You know what I mean? It's
wow.
like I like.
So they were all potentially your shoe.
Well, yeah, I liked something that was more athletic. And then, I wanted to try something that was more stylish over here. I wanted to do something with an airbag here, a cup sole here. And I couldn't decide between which one I wanted to select as mine. And so I decided to present them all.
So it's an immediate link. Like you're a pro skateboarder, and then they go, hey, design shoes. And you go, oh my goodness, this is like a total, I was born to design shoes.
Yeah, well, I mean.
And off you go.
I didn't know how good of a job I was doing or wasn't doing. I was just doing stuff that I liked and kind of more or less fell in love with the process.
You're a part of people. Your shoes were so innovative for, I feel like DC had a shoe when they first came out, because I was hanging out with Colin and Danny all the time. I remember their prototypes, super stock. Then there were these new shoes that were similar to like a Nike thing, but had their own skateboard flair to it. And that was you. And then all the other companies that copied them. Mm-hmm. And then obviously, that ain't cool anymore. We're now like, we're ashamed of those shoes. Mm-hmm. Now we do anti-puffy shoes. But you started a whole thing.
You were the original influencer.
Yeah. You just
yeah. I don't know about
to make it.
Yeah.
To make you feel bad about it.
I definitely.
What are you talking about? That's for real. He influenced the culture.
Well, I mean, I guess, I guess kind of, sort of, but more than anything, I mean, I was afforded these cool opportunities with big platforms in order, to be able to get the recognition and the credibility and stuff that it led up to as a footwear designer. And a big part of that is to do with skateboarding, in the late 80s, early 90s, coming into this, this recognition that we need to create, skateboard specific footwear, you know what I mean? And at the offset of that, created a lot of opportunities for people like myself and other creatives within the industry to take advantage of.
Right.
And so I just, like I said, I fell in love with the process. I was understanding that, skateboarding is not going to last forever. And I, during that process, I had kind of established in my mind, this is something that I want to pursue after skateboarding.
That was a good idea.
Yeah.
That was a really good call.
Mm-hmm.
That was a strange time too, because I feel like you were in that era where coming into your peak of skating is when skating was dying in popularity.
Right.
But us as skaters watching you, I mean, I firstly recognize you as a skater, and I would watch the tricks you do. Like you were the mini ramp champ, and you would do, like, I still do my air to fakie, Weddle grab, previously known as mute grab.
Uh-huh.
I do it to fakie because of you. That's real.
That's awesome. Yeah,
you would point your tail out, and it looked cool because it looked like a switch frontside air, but it also gave you a high landing every time.
Right.
So whenever you see me set up fakie, it's your trick.
You know what's cool about this, and it's almost kind of a full circle type of feeling, is because you afforded me the opportunity for my first photo shoot in a magazine, which the article Beyond article that you were doing for Transworld. Yeah.
And that was that trick. Am I right? That's right.
Yes. Yeah. So that's the trick I was doing. Grant Britton had shot the photo or whatever, but I was just first of all, thank you, you know what I mean, for your just continual support, like just throughout my whole career, you know what I mean? And that kind of being a pretty pivotal thing for me as well. I mean, that also kind of boosted my confidence at that point, kind of being the new guy coming up and, just coming into the scene or whatever, to have that validation and have you invite me and then have, Grant Britton. It was just, have Grant Britton shooting the photo. I'm at Tony Hawk's, like, it was amazing.
But
So
I mean,
thank
you were really well rounded. So I say mini ramp, but like you were one of the kings of mini ramps, but also skating vert and stuff. But I just remember every time I'd see you skate anything, I'm like, he does every trick. Like he's got every single trick. I think that's what I wrote in the article. I was like, imagine yourself doing the hardest trick you could think of. Now picture Alphonzo doing that trick because he probably did it.
Right. I'm going to leave out names because we've touched on this story before, but the very first time I met you was at McGill Skate Park. And the way you skated was something that I would definitely be against, even though I knew that you were obviously gifted. I was like, whoa, especially on mini ramp. I was like, oh my, I'm going back over the vert ramp. Whatever he's doing is, I don't even want to be here for this. It's too gnarly. I felt like I was a 70s bowl skateboarder and my brain was like, I don't even know what you did. I can't even tell if you're going backwards or forwards. Like you did everything. Like Tony said, you could do everything. But you also came to the vert ramp and you got your street style, but you did like legit heavy hitting vert tricks. And I'm like, who is this?
But he also,
dude?
There was a thing that you had, you still have it. I watched it happen yesterday where you look like you have no weight on your feet. And I still I don't understand it. It looks like you're a feather. You did a backflip yesterday. It looked like there was like, it looked like even if you slammed, there would be no mass to that slam.
I'll do an MMA analogy that you two won't get. Anderson Silva, one of the greatest MMA fighters that ever lived, just the way he moved on the mat, his feet looked like he kind of floated a little bit. Like his feet looked like he weighed like 10 pounds. You look like that when you skateboard. But getting back to that McGill skate park thing where there was a guy there that was older than us. I didn't know much about him, tattooed guy. So I was figuring he's a cool guy. And he started falling off and dropping the N-bomb when he'd fall off. Right. And I was like, I don't even understand how that word is appropriate for falling. You mean you trying to say fuck, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What has N-bomb got to do with anything? And then I look over and you're there. And I'm 17. I never met a black person. I know that that's bad. I watch enough movies to know that you don't appreciate that when you're a white guy.
Right.
And I was like, I thought you couldn't say that. And then he said it like 4 times. And I go, hey, what the fuck is that? And he goes, what are you going to fucking do about it? And I was like, I was like, yep, you probably would beat the shit out of me. And I just went, meh. And I had no rebuttal because I didn't want to get punched in the face.
Right.
But he checked me that day for saying, why are you doing that? And we were you were like same age as me.
Yeah.
We're 17, dude.
Right.
You're like a 28-year-old dude
yeah,
saying that to kids. We're kids.
Right.
And I remember that was the first time I ever saw racism in my life. And I was like, are you okay? Like, am I bad because I didn't do something? Like, and then you kept skating and I was like, he's like, you know what? Fuck those guys. Like, I'm going to keep skating. And I was like, man, he's a tough kid. But I was also, it was very confusing to me. I was not sure what to do, or I felt like I didn't know how to talk to you after it. Right. I know you don't remember because it's obviously.
He remembered it as someone else. I remember.
Which is hilarious that you thought it was that other person.
Right. But at the same time, it's like, that type of stuff probably rolled off my shoulders, especially coming from those guys, because I'm figuring those dudes are kind of on their way out. You know what I mean? It's like I was kind of closer engaged with the Ternanskis and the MTs and what their thoughts and their and plans were for the future. And I know that the position that they're in with their new brand was just kind of more or less a way to kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get them out there. So they weren't here to stay. So I mean, I wasn't really too concerned.
Oh mate, Jason Ellis here for Hawk versus Wolf. I don't know if you can see my sweet mustache, but I just made that yesterday. With, yes, you got it, Manscaped, the ultimate trimmer. I don't know if you can see, but right here I have it's very little, light bit of beard that you can barely see, but also helps cover the face because I'm melting. My skin is coming off because I'm 50. And if I have this little fake beard here, it makes me look less wrinkly. And then the mustache just makes me balls to the wall. Intimidating. That's the look that I'm trying to go for. I mean, I've already beat up several people with my mustache, and thanks to Manscaped, I really know how to keep that thing looking tight. So if you want to join the team, you'd be crazy not to. go to manscaped.com/hawkwolf, like as in this program that you're listening to. Manscaped.com/hawkwolf. Get 20% off. 20% is a good deal. They're the future. They're ahead of everybody in the shaving world. This is the cutting edge of shaving. Manscaped, run the game. Join us and get a deal. Manscaped.com/hawkwolf.
Interesting. So your confidence in yourself and what you guys are all doing, you were like, whatever, you'll be fucking gone in a couple years anyway, turd face.
I mean,
And you were right.
the momentum was already there for sure.
Well, yeah. I
Like,
mean,
I would feel it when I'd go to McGill's. You know, I was in Fallbrook with my own ramp, but I'd go to McGill's and I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, 8th Street guys ain't playing.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
lived in the 8th
yeah.
Street house, like within, I don't know which time it was that I came here, but at one point I was in a house with just straight up street dudes. The Donger, Sheffy, you were there, Sal Barbier, it was all the big street dudes, and I'm just like the vert dude who had a really pissy attitude towards street skating. Like, if anyone asked me, I'm like, you guys are fucking terrible. And they were like, at one point, Sal and I got into a discussion about it. You might have even been a part of it at one point because I was so annoying and disrespectful.
He was pretty abrasive. I remember he used to be bigger than me and Fred O'Landy, and used to pick on me and Fred O'Landy. But we used to always kind of try to team up on you, like talking shit.
Right.
Like,
it would always be a group of dudes coming at me, and I'd be like, whatever, fucking jump ramp. Why don't you grab the fucking, you know what I mean? And it was, I was so confident in my bashings that they were like, he's an idiot, but he can't see it. He's absolutely positive he's winning this argument. So, and they get so irritated
The
by
irony
it.
is that if Alf engaged in it, he could go to the vert ramp and destroy everyone.
Yeah.
So it's like-
and I was aware of that. And that's why maybe, I don't know, you were always, because I knew you could do both. So I'm like, you don't count. Like, if he got into it too much, I'm like, dude, you did like a 1-footed McTwist. I can't do that. Like, I'm going to shut the fuck up. But those other guys, because Sal was super into jump ramps, and I saw a reaction, and that's what it was. As soon as I said a jump ramp thing, he was like, "What? I don't jump ramp." And I was like, "Yeah,
got him.
I'm like, fucking yeah, man. Let's get a jump ramp on the flat bottom and do a demo, yeah." And he's like, "Fucking shut up!" And the guy said, "Drive him insane." But Donger and Sheffy, best of friends. Never a dull moment. I would go street skating with them, and I can't street skate. I would just hang out, like maybe I'd ollie off a curb or something while these guys were making video parts, and I never was bored, or I was like, wow, it really taught me respect for the streets. Like I was like, oh, okay. My friends in Australia, not good. What these guys are doing, very good, very skilled, very like dangerous. All those. What was that big bank that people were getting towed into?
That was San Pasquale.
Yeah.
Couple
Sheffy would,
couple
you know what I mean?
exits
like,
down.
I'm like, dude, you're flying. You know what I mean? The rail he was grinding. I'm like, that is dangerous. You guys are high level.
How crazy was the 8th Street house?
It's
The 8th
what a
Street house,
ridiculous
nice
thing.
family neighborhood.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Like manicured lawns everywhere. You know what I mean? You know.
Like
green
12 dudes,
foliage,
dude. Like not even 4.
Like, you know, and then you come to the team house, like all the grass was all tore up. Danny had his big GMC. He just turned 16. He had his big GMC in the front.
Such a ridiculous
James
life.
Frazier was out there washing it for, you know, a couple of bucks or whatever. And like, there was always kind of people skating out front, and like the neighbors would always complain.
Yeah.
It was wild times because it was
And 8th Street was just paying the rent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they had everybody, because it was 8th Street, Planet Earth, and what was the other company?
8th Street, Planet Earth, and then what, Iron Cross or
I
whatever
don't
for a
know, but
second.
they had
And-
everybody goes in that house regardless.
Right.
So usually it kind of worked, but Tuss and Ben and myself being in that house, it was definitely like poking.
But what
people.
it started off being, it was Trinansky and T-Mag lived there, and then they that's where they got the work done. That's where they edited all the videos and stuff like that. And then from there,
I have a story about that. Go ahead.
oh, is that right? And then from there, you know, the team writers would come and stay and have input, whatever.
Yeah.
And then after a while, it's like once momentum started going,
They
then-
moved them
then,
out.
Yeah, then Mag and Trinansky bought homes or whatever.
Right.
And then
So I remember Donger and Sheffy had the best rooms. Like
Mm.
Donger had a balcony and shit, so we'd all hang out in his room.
Mhm.
But you know, I mean, if you're me, B team vert guy, you're just a couch guy.
and then Andrek lived there. Do you remember when Andrek lived there? You were there?
I do not remember Dave Andrek living there, but I do remember having some times with Dave and being a guy that really loves doing Andrek, especially back then,
Mhm.
and being a guy that respected his elders.
Uh-huh.
And Dave just being like a kind of loose Like, yeah, Ellis, woo! Like, I don't even care what you're saying. Like, let me tell you another story about the 70s. You know what I mean? I'm like, tell me another story about the 70s. Like, I go into his office and he had a photo of the Andract, or maybe I got a cover doing it or whatever. He's like, you know who invented that, right? I'm like, what are you serious, dude?
Right.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe you're asking me right now. Yes, I'm aware that you invented this maneuver. Thank you.
Yeah. Your name being Dave Andrak is not a coincidence. I understand
And that
this clearly.
your office has a giant poster of you doing an Andract behind you in your office, which is, I back it. If I invented that, I would have tattooed that on my face. Fuck everybody.
He was hometown hero, San Diego.
And-
Oasis. My first actual skateboard that was a brand name skateboard was an Andract.
Your
the
videos
ones with the grooves on it.
That one right there.
Boom, there it is.
Your
The
old
Raver.
videos that you post or that you've shown me in the past has given me more respect for Dave Andract, because I feel like there was times there where you were like, nobody was doing this, dude. And look at this aerial. And I'm like, that is a giant.
Yeah, he was the first one to do what we call a bio air. Like
Mhm.
a
bio was.
bio.
in-
Oh yeah, bio. Are you kidding? 80s. Dude, that was so bio. Because
Yeah.
Steve Austin's $6 million man, he was
Yeah.
bionic.
Oh.
So
Oh, of
he
course.
went bio. And then this one contest at Big O. Big O had a channel. It was a capsule pool that had a channel, and you could come as far as you want back and roll in. And for one of his runs, he just decided, I'm going as big as anyone's ever gone.
Yeah.
Pushed from like beyond the crowd, like part of the
It's
sea
like
of the
10
crowd.
minutes for him to get to the park.
Came in and blasted an air that was like 6 feet and bailed. But everyone was just like,
Dude, you just flew.
that guy
Right.
just came in from a rocket ship,
Right.
Mhm.
went back, tried it again, bailed again, went back, tried again, made it. That was his run. And
Oh,
that
wow.
is what the only thing anyone remembers from that contest.
Right.
I was under the stands watching from between the banners.
No way, dude. Just
So
little
like
as
tracker
hell.
banner, rector banner. I was just like, oh my God.
So
That's awesome.
cool.
Anyway, so I know that. But I was going to tell you, I went to that house one time because I didn't have a professional editing system at the time, and I was doing birdhouse videos. So I'm editing them on VHS
Mhm.
through a video toaster. Like that's how I did the effects.
Mhm.
Anyway, this is all super nerdy, but I had to master it to a beta tape.
Mhm.
And I had no way to do that. And someone said Tony had like gear, and I hit up Tony, and I went there super late one night, and I felt bad because I mastered my video, but it was late. And I think the H Street house was sort of on its way out as a
Oh yeah, yeah.
party house,
Mhm.
and someone had a baby.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that.
Hmm.
That wouldn't have lasted long.
Let me think.
Yeah, so
who
I
that
feel like it was maturing as a space. I'm not sure.
Somebody-
Anyway,
I
long
don't
story
know.
short, I finished super late, and when I left, I woke up the baby, and I felt like shit.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
And it's still to this day is like, oh man, I can't believe I
Who had the
woke up
baby?
the baby.
Was it
I want to
Mag?
say it was like 93. What's that?
Was it Mag? Did he like his
No,
one
Oh,
baby? Did
I
he?
don't know.
I
Shane,
feel like Shane
would've
was
been
already
older.
around. Yeah.
Shane would have been older by then.
think.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But then through those years, this was funny. I became Alf's personal filmer for a hot minute.
Dude, he was. I
What?
mean, yeah, he was so gracious. So I would call him like, "Yeah, I got no one to film." I had a hard time getting people to film me or whatever from time to
Yeah.
time. I'd call him and he'd always be gracious,
Well, he's
We
in
would
Oceanside.
just-
I'm in Fallbrook, and I got a video camera, and like,
Are we talking street? Like
Yeah,
you're following,
street, yeah, we
you're
used to go
following
out.
him
There's
getting
Yeah.
lines.
yeah,
yes, no,
Yeah.
there's footage on the H Street video that he filmed of me.
Are you trying to film something the same day, or just you out there to film else get a line?
Well,
mostly it was him. I
yeah,
mean,
he was mostly filming me,
yeah.
but we did end up at Oceanside High, whatever, on one of the little film trips, and you did the ollie over the gap thing. There was like a wedge thing into a curb cut. Remember?
no.
I don't know if you remember. I mean, anyways, there wasn't really much that went down on it. Kane Gale did like a pretty awesome 360 flip or whatever, but I remember we hit that spot. I did film you ollieing over that, but it was mostly him filming
Oh,
me.
Do you
Yeah.
feel like
And
Elf
he was always-
influenced your street skating?
Sure, yeah.
Like I feel like now from watching like all your '90s flip tricks and ledge stuff. Like, didn't you guys post something the other day, a frontside blunt slide thing where it was just super apparent that you both go into the same position on it? You
Oh, was it the back tail to front blunt?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Back tail,
To
front blunt transfer
on a
over
double-sided
on a
curve.
double-sided
yeah,
curve.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
And I think that you said I shot yours.
In
Yeah.
Oceanside.
Yeah, no,
at the golf course. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that
That's
was
so
fun.
crazy.
There was definitely a couple years where our lives paralleled because we were in the same area and we're skating and there wasn't a whole lot happening. it would be you and me, probably Barra was at my house. Costin was there a lot with Steve. And then I would come home and they'd have my car, like, because I think we had an extra car at the time.
You must have, because this is the story that I always tell. It's like maybe like a week into knowing Tony or whatever, and I don't know what happened to my car. It broke down or something. Anyways, long story short, I didn't have it for a week. Barely knowing Tony and him being my hero, like lets me borrow his car, and I've got his car for like a week, and it's parked in my house. I don't live in the nicest neighborhood, at the time or whatever. But
I
don't know.
The Civic?
It was your Civic.
Yeah, that was the Civic I bought from Gator.
Yeah. It had an awesome stereo system on it.
Yeah. It was the first car I ever saw that was like, wait, you could do all that extra stuff to a car?
Yeah. And
with tinted windows, aftermarket stereo.
Is this him like on the way out financially and him selling you that car because he needed the money?
That was probably just a little bit before that.
No, before that.
Yeah,
I think he was upgrading, and that was
okay.
and I was becoming into a financial crisis because I had a child on the way, and I was starting to, start my own company, and that's where we connected for sure. But
I was going to get on Birdhouse earlier on, but I didn't pull the trigger because I was like, man, all the dudes just kind of left 8th Street or whatever, and so Mags got no one, so I end up sticking around. But it was something that was always in the back of my mind. Yeah. I'm so
We're actually
sorry.
here to tell you what an asshole you are, Elf. Why'd you do that?
And so I end up drawing the very first Birdhouse Project logo. Yep.
Man,
some history for you.
You're always
Which one was that?
in there.
It was the one that had the B and the P connected.
But the P was backwards? No, that was O's. O did that one.
Right. I forget exactly how it was. It was the B
was it
and
a
the
circle?
P. No, it was in a square, I think, or a rectangle, if I remember correctly. Like the very first one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the one that I thought O did. Maybe that you did it.
No, yeah,
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And it was red and blue and yellow.
I forget what it was. I just remember the B and the P connected.
Man, we're getting deep.
Yeah,
it's pretty sick though.
Yeah.
Back then too, we both got picked for a Levi's commercial.
Yeah, it was Levi's.
Like so that would have been 94.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, I'm bad with dates, but I remember that. Yeah, it was probably like 4 hours north.
Yeah, up in the Salt Flats.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So he and I got the commercial, and we're both weren't making money at the time. So we're like, whoo, we got a commercial, and we had to learn how to. It sucks because I can't find that commercial anymore.
I know.
We both had to learn how to kite surf, but kite
That's
skate.
what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you did that.
Yeah. So we had to train. There was a couple of days of training. I think one was
in Santa Monica.
One was in Santa Monica, and then when we got on location, we were trying to figure that out again.
Was it hard?
It was. I remember it being kind of.
It was
pretty hard.
Yeah. And we had to ride boards with those off-road tires.
Yeah. The super heavy
dirt boards.
tall
They don't
ones.
work.
Yeah.
I know.
With the
I've had one of
risers
those.
that are this high,
Yeah.
and so we had to learn how to ride those,
Mhm.
which sucked because they have
They're logs.
You can't slide
It's
them.
a
or
log
anything.
board.
Right.
And you
Those tires
get
weigh.
wheel bite. You get wheel bite on tires,
Right.
which is over.
I've bombed a snowboard hill without snow on one of those before, and I was like,
Oh,
we went up there for a fun time, and after about half an hour, I was like, okay, bullshit, let's go home.
Mhm.
but what we had to learn how to do was to actually use wind and sort of traverse back, and
Right.
that was really hard
Yeah,
because you can go get the wind pull you all day,
yeah,
and then you're just gone.
yeah. I get that with sailing. One time I sailed. My uncle in New Zealand, Uncle Harry, taught me how to sail when I was like 11. So I thought I knew how to sail, and then I went on a vacation. This is before I really could afford vacations, but it was Carrie Hart and Pink's wedding, and they invited us. So that's how I got to be on. So they got married on an island. Then it was like a Four Seasons island, and one side had some waves, and the other side had some sailing. And I went out there, and I'm like, I'm gonna sail one
Out
of
to
those.
sea.
One of those catamarans, and my wife at the time goes, "Can you sail?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I sailed with Uncle Harry when I was a kid." So these people just give me the fucking thing, and I'm like, "See ya," you know what I mean? And of course, the wind is going the right way for me to go out. And I'm like, bam, and I'm like, see you later. Like, fucking idiots think I couldn't sail, you fucking idiots. You know what I mean? And then I get all the way out there and I'm like, well, I should probably turn around, getting pretty far. And then I turn around and there's no wind. I'm like jerking the rope. I'm like, oh, how would you make the wind get you back? And I was like, I'm just going to act like I'm hanging out, not actually trying to go back. And then my wife said that she said the whole time, she was like, it was super obvious that you were just lost and you were trying to just hold it down. And then somebody had to get a boat and come and get me.
But it was funny
stuck out there.
but that wasn't really a thing.
No.
And so they demanded that we would do that. We tried out for the commercial just as skaters.
Tried out.
Yeah, we auditioned.
Yeah. So there was a lot of you at one point, and you two got
it was just mainly, as I remember, it was just me and you, and then just random extra.
No, but I'm
people that
saying,
didn't skate.
in the audition process, when we were auditioning for it, it was. You mean we were the only skaters that came out to the audition? I feel like at that time there were a few randos that would get called, and they used to skate or whatever, and they'd show up with their
so that would
Valterra, and they'd be like, "Yeah, bro, I skate."
Right. So I think as far as the real skateboarders that actually were pro skateboarders, I think it was just me and Tony, and then the rest were just kind of random people.
Yeah, there were models, and then they had us bouncing on a trampoline at one point.
What?
Oh, okay, I vaguely remember that.
So
bouncing on a trampoline just in Levi's with no shirt on or some shit.
No, as I recall it was for one of these shots that they're shooting up the sky, and you're doing
it's like you're
shots,
getting pulled up into the sky by this thing, but it was so random. But it was directed by Joe Pitka, and Joe Pitka directed Space Jam.
Space Jam, right?
So for us, we were like, we made it.
Yeah,
Levi's commercial director, and he was so gnarly. You remember that?
Yeah. He was. I remember him being pretty intimidating.
Oh, he was not a sweetheart with you guys.
Oh, no. I think most movie directors probably intentionally aren't. They try to set the tone on there. I mean, all the different, documentaries, whatever that I watch in regards to the movie making process, it seems like that's kind of like the through line is that
he was notorious though for being scary.
Right.
Yeah. And I remember there was one point in that commercial. You probably don't remember all this, but I remember one point. He kept trying to get me to do tricks. And I was like, dude, this is not the thing. So I would try to do shove us, and I kept slamming, and he got mad at me.
Wow.
Because I'm like holding onto a kite, trying to shove it on a board.
On a dirt board.
With this high off the ground.
With actual rubber tires, like a car.
But at some point, I can't remember. He just kind of gave up on that shot. And then Alf comes up to me, and he's like, dude, guy was cursing you out like after you left. I'm like, was he? He's like, nah.
Wow.
Movie sets.
No, but you were kidding about it.
Right.
You were just, but he got me so paranoid because I was like, he was so mad at me. He's like,
he's so
sure
mad
who
at
you
me.
saying after you left. And I was like, really? He's like, nah.
No, it's like, for a while in the 90s, I think a few of us had agents and stuff that were doing the commercials, whatever on the side. But movie sets are gnarly. It's like they have this idea of what skateboarding is and what's possible in skateboarding just because they saw a couple of skateboard videos or whatever it is and stuff. Yeah. And you'll show up and there'll be like a crazy double kink fucking, 15, flat 15 or some shit. And what you're going to do real quick, you're just going to hop on that. And then I'm like, dude, no one's doing that.
Right.
And if they were, they're not doing it for your video, for your commercial, They're
doing it one time and it's on video to make them the greatest skateboarder that ever lived.
Right. Yeah. So.
I feel like I've had a short spurt and stuff like that. And same thing, like Paul Blart Mall Cop. He's like, can you jump that door, the corridor? I was like just ride up the wall like Spider-Man and then fly across the wall. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, you've seen a vert ramp, right? You see the big curvy thing at the start that gets us to go in the air? Oh, yeah. Or you want us to just build one of those? I'm like, that'd be awesome if you could build one of those. That'll get me up there. And then I go there the next day and it's like 2-foot transition.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, I might be able to get up on the wall, but I can't like do a 6-foot air from a 2-foot. And I could tell he's like, what are you talking? You said you wanted a curve.
Right.
There's a curve. Fly.
Do something, yeah.
And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. But you could tell he was like, man, we got the wrong guy. I'm like, get the right guy then. Get Tony Hawk to do a fucking 12-foot air off this 2-foot bank.
Yeah, no,
instead,
it's a crazy world. I mean, I'm sure you've seen quite a bit of it. Like, oh, here's a bank wrap. Let's see that 900.
Always.
You know what I mean?
Every
Where like they don't really
Even
have the
skateboarders
full.
But
do
the
that
thing
to
about
him.
this commercial that we did, and I don't want to keep dwelling on it, but I think that the problem was that they wanted us to do this crazy kite thing, but they thought that we could just float around and do skate tricks on the way
Yeah.
with these off-road vehicles. And
So
so
heavy.
they got frustrated at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at some point, I do remember both of us were just bouncing on the trampoline.
Mhm.
That was the shot.
Right. Yeah.
They gave up on the kite thing. It didn't work.
They got whatever they needed from it.
and then
but
we're
that
trying
commercial-
to overcompensate the rest with a trampoline shot.
That commercial got buried. I've gone down the rabbit hole trying to find it.
Right. It seems like there would be some kind of a little something, a little clip or I after we talked about it last time, I went to look for it myself and yeah.
Man, you just reminded me. I did the loop here and that's gone. Can't find it. And
I'm sure Jared knows where it is.
Like I did the loop and then the best thing about it is slow-mo and then Lance is there. So like one of my childhood heroes.
I've seen that.
It was on the internet, but it disappeared because I tried to put it on my YouTube channel and I'm like, what? My loop is gone. I'm like, man, I ain't doing that again.
Right.
Like,
I've seen that somewhere. We'll find it.
but I wanted to talk to you about your skateboard thing that you're doing.
Everybody skates.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. So
Yes, everybody skates.
But wait, also your tribute to all the black skaters.
Yes.
Oh, that's what I meant.
That
Yeah.
is amazing.
Okay, so
Two things. Go ahead.
For February, everybody skates. What we're doing is we created a list of influential black skateboarders who have had an influence on skateboard culture, and I release that every February with an updated list, and I get my Instagram audience involved in kind of suggesting names that they think belong on the list that weren't there.
Oh, cool.
I'm actually kind of wearing the shirt right now. You can barely see it because it's white on white reflective. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I'll give it a attempt at using that.
Oh, yeah.
So basically,
Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot of
You can't
guys
hear me?
and girls.
so anyways, this year I decided I thought it would be cool to do a white on white, and the ink is actually reflective. So at a certain angle, you can
Yeah.
kind of see the names pop off. And so I don't know, it's one of my favorite things that
It's pretty cool.
Does that mean if
Remake.
I go in front of a car at night, it gets all flashy?
there you go. Yeah, it might
Sweet.
save your life.
We got
Yeah.
my wife grew up, one of her best friends was a black skater in Detroit. She used to skate with him, and she made sure his name was on there.
Yes,
Pretty
yeah,
cool. Warren.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. And I saw his message on Instagram as well. Yeah, I get it's.
Well, we threw him in there. He
Right.
was reluctant to throw his hat in the mix. Like he's like, oh, I wasn't. He's like, you're influential in your area, and you
Right.
you build a vert ramp indoors. Like that's
Oh, that's
like
legit.
84, 85.
You
Yeah.
made skateboarders
Yeah.
right there. Anyone who builds a skate park makes skateboarders.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's just kind of highlighting the influences of influential black skateboarders in celebration and recognition of Black History Month. It's a fun project. I mean, people really get into it, and I get a lot of people are stoked that I'm doing it and stuff. So
Does
I mean,
it
it's-
make
it's
you want to
awesome.
do more stuff like that?
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
So do you have
absolutely.
plans to do more stuff
It
like
will.
that?
I do that. I do it every year actually, and
Oh,
so the
okay.
list continues to grow and grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's a 3-page Instagram post.
Right. So yeah. So this year, I released the image on the board, and it's getting to the point where probably next year or the following year, I might have to end up doing a top and bottom graphic. You know what I mean? To be able
Still
to spread
cool,
it out.
man.
So
That's
it's growing.
Yeah.
It's growing.
But tell us about how did everybody's skates start? Because I'll just give you my perspective.
Okay.
I saw you putting stuff out there because obviously we followed each other on social media for years, but I saw you putting stuff out there with sort of this mashup thing.
Mhm.
And the most brilliant version of that was the Smith grind
Yep.
with Morrissey.
Oh,
doing
yeah,
a Smith
yeah,
grind. You seen that, right?
yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And I thought that was just your thing for fun.
hmm
And then all of a sudden I saw it's Everybody Skates and it's a brand and you got a bunch of other ones, but
Right.
it's great.
Well, it
How
actually
did that start? That's
so,
what I'm saying.
So basically, I mean, it didn't start with this bright idea in mind that I'm going to start a cool company and do this and do that and whatever. I got on social media, and at first I was reluctant. I didn't get it. I didn't understand social media. I was like, so how what do I do? What do I post? Like, how do I even navigate this space? And so I just started kind of creating things that were amusing to me. And so I combined my like for popular culture with skateboarding and started creating these images, via Photoshop or whatnot. And, one thing led to another. I started getting a lot of people reposting these images. and making a deal out of them. And so I started creating more. And then I started getting this overwhelming request, like of what are you doing with these? Why don't you put these on T-shirts? Whatever. And I had no idea to do it originally because it's like I'm designing footwear. I'm just kind of content with that. But then after a while, I started hearing it so much that I was like, okay, well, let me go ahead and make a small run of tees or whatever, and to supply the demand on social media. Once I did that, I got the attention of Supreme in LA, and they were interested in carrying some of the shirts that I made. I printed up like 5 styles or whatever, and was able to get into Supreme. Being in the culture for as long as I have been, I understood the significance of getting into Supreme because you can't just show up and get into Supreme. And so for the sheer
fact,
fact,
like that door's never open to anyone.
And you just accidentally got in there with like,
so which designs did you give to Supreme?
So it was like, I had this, the Smith grind. I think I had one with, that was inspired by Rick Ross that said boss on it and had him like front side tail sliding a ledge. But his body position was pretty funny because it's, obviously when you're like in action, it's something like this, but I found a picture of him where he was still heavier set and his hands were limping down. And it was funny to me. And it's like, that's when I know I've got something, is like when I'm putting it together and I'm just cracking up and I'm dying. And that was definitely one of those. And then I had another one. I think it was like Michael Jackson doing a method and just, some other ones that were just kind of inspired by popular culture meet skateboarding.
Is there any, copyright issues with those?
There hasn't been. I mean, for the most part, it's like I'm doing small volume, right? It's like I'm not in no shops. It's all.
But you're in Supreme.
Well, yeah. At this point, it's like I scaled everything back. But now, when I was in Supreme, I was still kind of under the radar because I wasn't choosing to be in a lot of shops. So at the time I was in Supreme, I was probably in like a total of maybe 10 or 15 other shops, that were inspired by what I was doing because of them hearing that I was in Supreme.
Did you get into any legal issues?
No.
Really?
No, not
that's
yet.
Great. Wow.
There
was NWA.
I don't know if she mentioned this, where you guys could edit out later or whatever. But I did get a call from an attorney.
Oh, okay.
For NWA. Yeah, I just ignored it. I just ignored it and it went away. So I don't want to get myself in trouble.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah, no, it's not. But that's the same thing that happened with skateboard graphics through the 90s.
Right.
By the time it was done, someone might come in and say, "Hey, you can't do that," and it was over.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Like, I mean, if you're the attorney for NWA or whatever, you got way bigger fish to fry than me, because I was just in the mall the other day, and there's like, it's not even a kiosk; it's a straight store with like. It's a T-shirt store with,
Nirvana,
NWA. There you go. You know what I'm talking about, like all day long.
Every other store on like Lower East Side in New York.
Exactly.
Like
but this is a legit mall. This is a Carlsbad Mall. This isn't like, you know what I mean? This isn't like...
but these stores are legitimate spaces too, and they just run it.
They don't have
who knows
the rights.
It doesn't feel like they do. I'll tell you that.
Right. So I mean, I don't know. I just have fun with it. Like I said, I mean, it's just it's my platform. It's my creative expression, and people like it and they get into it. But it's like I'm not like, I mean, truth be told, I'm not like selling a gazillion shirts. You know what I mean? It's more of a passion.
But that evolved into the skateboard collab.
Yes. So yeah. In just my creative expression and these ideas that I come up with to kind of expand what the definition of Everybody Skates is, I came up with the idea to do these dual collabs, you know what I mean, where I'm combining pros. For instance, I took Tony.
Christian and Tony, right?
Yeah, I took Christian and Tony.
Hulk Zoe.
And I did a mashup and called it, there you go, the Hosoi. Check this out.
I was pretty excited about that.
It's such a sick idea.
So yeah, I mean, this is like, I'm so thrilled to death. Like I said, I mean, this is kind of like the initiation of kind of the board collab idea. And so to start here with Christian Asoy and Tony Hawk, it's like I had to, it was tough to think, of how I can kind of maintain that level of, of awesomeness, because it's like, I mean, I kind of.
But it would take. That's the thing, though. That's what you have such a unique position, because it would take you to do something like that, and for Christian and me to agree to.
Right.
If someone else approached us, would be like, what's your
Right.
what's your angle? And
Yeah.
we were just like, oh, Alf, yeah, let's do it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we signed those things within a week, right?
Yeah.
That was
No, and
super cool.
and I appreciate that so much because it's like it's a lot of work. You know what I mean? It's like I had to set up like, do you know what 300 or 500 boards look like?
You know
in
what?
there?
It's crazy. He does.
Yeah.
Nobody else. Like, hey, everybody, have you ever signed 1,000 things? Most people haven't had like a stack of things where you just sign, because you'd be surprised. I did a poster with him and we signed, I don't know, like 1,000. And all of a sudden I was like, my back hurts. I'm like, your back hurts from signing things? That's odd. But if it gets to that number, it's actually pretty torturous.
Well, when
It's
you see them all laid out and you realize you don't have enough room for all of them to be laid out at the same time.
Right. Yeah.
That's what it's like. It's like, so I'd be signing them and then his family was helping. So
Yeah, they're always
like his
helping.
wife would be grabbing them as I signed them and then placing another layer down. But I did 2,500 once in one sitting. So I'm not phased by
No,
500.
right.
But nonetheless, it's like I'm just stoked.
beastly.
I'm just stoked, and in my mind, I'm like, I can't believe these collabs. I'm seriously doing a collab with Krishna Soy and Tony Hawk. Like I can't believe. And then so I got the board set up for Tony to sign, and I respect and value how busy this man is.
I get
And
it.
so I got it laid out all across his property here, and I'm just like, I know he said he'd sign it, but I just feel that just I feel like he's gonna walk in and be like, all right, Alf.
No,
Come
that's
on.
my
You
pleasure.
know what I mean? So thank you. I
What
appreciate that.
are the other collabs?
So the other collabs that I've done was so I
There's
did
Hensley, right?
so I did yep. So I did
Hensley
one.
and
I think the one that I did actually before the Hosoi was me and Steve Caballero, where I did the Alf Cab,
Oh,
Which is-
yes.
Oh,
which is a play off of the name, Half
Half
Cab or whatever. And so basically what that is was I kind of, took inspiration from the, Caballero Dragon graphic
Yeah.
and combined it with, Alf, the sitcom character from
Yeah.
the 80s or
The guy that
whatever.
eats
with-
cats. Love
Yeah,
him.
the guy that
Yeah.
eats cats. So, ever since that show came on, everyone started calling me Alf. And so I've kind of utilized him, from time to time as kind of my little mascot. So
Got it.
that's how we had the Alf Cab. From there, the Hosoi. And then I did the Matt Hensley Ray Barbie graphic,
Oof.
which I mean, I've had this idea swimming in my mind for quite some time, and to be able to actually make it a reality was such a thrill to me.
And they both signed those.
And they both, they're both autographed.
That's huge.
Yeah. And so basically, what it is, it's Ray Barbie's ragdoll character swinging around the pole, inspired by the Matt
The
Hensley
H Street,
graphic, the 8th Street Matt Hensley graphic of him swinging around the pole. The one after that was the Tommy Gonzalez. So basically, Tommy Guerrero, Mark Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I took the flames from Tommy's classic, Bones Brigade graphic, and one of Mark Gonzalez's characters from
You've seen it. You've seen it for sure.
from his pro model. So he's actually sitting in the flames or whatever, and on the tail in flames it says Tommy Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that I have. When's this airing?
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Just
3
give or
weeks.
take.
2 or 3
Okay.
weeks.
So that will be pretty close.
Depends how good it is.
What
is that?
We'll bump him up.
The pressure.
We'll give him.
It's so lame. If it comes out late, he's gonna be like, "Man, I did the worst." Like, that's not how we do it, dude. Just for the record, we've never bumped anybody ahead because it's so good. If anything, it gets dragged back.
Because we know it's so good.
It's only one
Yeah,
time.
that's what it is. If it comes out late, it means because we
'cause
have
you're that
to
good.
hold on to it because
Yeah.
it was so stellar.
Okay, fair enough. So this is coming out next year. No, okay. No, so I have a really awesome. Well, I like to think all the collabs that I'm doing is awesome, but I'm pretty thrilled with the next collab that I'm doing because it's with our buddy Danny Way,
Yeah.
and we have some good history together as well. So
Is it you and Danny?
it's me and Danny.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
I love that. So
Pretty
what's the
excited about this one.
skateboard company called? Or is it?
it's
am I-
well, it's under Everybody Skates. But see, that's
Okay.
the thing about Everybody Skates. It's like I look at what I'm doing with Everybody Skates much less a brand than it is an artist's project. You know what I mean? With me kind of being the artist and me like, leaning on some of my buddies and my connections through the industry to create these cool ideas and be able to facilitate the art and stuff like that.
So it's not always about making it on a skateboard. Could be a T-shirt, could be whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's just whatever's best for the medium. Yeah, it's mainly T-shirts.
Right.
I'll do a lot of ideas on T-shirts, and then I'm able to. The cool thing about modern technologies now is like I'm able to. I don't have to sit on a whole bunch of inventory, right? I do a lot of direct to garment, printing.
Yeah.
I have a source not too far from where I live that allows me to, and the significance of that is it allows me to be as creative as I want and be able to, create, heaps of designs, you know what I mean, to be able to offer. Where if I had to do it all screen print, usually screen printers want some kind of a minimum of 144 pieces. So then you're out, 1,000 or more, and then you got a whole inventory that you need to kind of sell through before you move on to your next project, and next project, and next project.
Yep.
But the modern technology of being able to direct to garment print my designs allows me to have to offer tons of designs, because it's like I don't really have to inventorize them to have as quick of a turnaround as I would if I had everything in inventory.
But you really have created a kind of supreme vibe with your deck releases, because they're a limited run,
right?
And that drop happens and they sell out immediately, and there's resale. It's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's like I said. I mean, I stand on the shoulder of giants, and for the fact that you guys, are on board with this cool idea of mine, it is allowed it to, to be an exciting project for a lot of people. You know what I mean? And so these things have been selling out like 2.5 minutes.
When you did the first ones in orange, with that was a smaller release,
right?
You gave me 2 of the whatever. Was it 250 maybe, or 200?
I think the first ones was 133, if I remember correctly.
133.
Yeah.
So you gave me 2 of those. And then we did a fundraiser for a family whose the father of the family passed away, and they fetched, I want to say there was like 5 or 10 grand.
Yeah, I heard about that story, and someone said it fetched $12,000.
That was it, $12,000 for both of them. Yeah. Because so Mike Frazier was sort of was the point person,
right? And
they kept DMing him offers and DMing offers. He just took the 2 highest offers as you guys both get it for this price.
Yeah,
we have 2. And because they were so sought after.
Right. Yeah. And so that's the other awesome thing as well, is that you can like check online, and any of the collabs that I just mentioned with the Hossoy, the Tommy Gonzalez, the Ray Barbie, Matt Hensley, it's like literally 2 days after they sell out, you'll see, you can go look on what's it called? What's the shopping?
Grailed,
eBay. Yeah. You can look on eBay and they're like, $900, $1,200. You know what I mean? So yeah, stoked.
That's it.
But did you pay, like, I know that you're stoked on people helping you out, I mean, like Tony and stuff, but you have paid your rent and then some, and you're a guy that if you want to design something for me, like I'd go, fuck yeah, because you're our guy. Like I don't know anybody that's better than you at design and stuff in all of my facets of life. Like all the people I know, I'm like, the only reason I wouldn't ask you is because I'm like, look at your shoe company, look at the boards and the thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not asking him for anything. I made a joke before the show.
We got something brewing right now.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
We can't talk about it. But we got something going on.
I'll figure it out, you guys. Sorry, I'll get it.
Yeah. Thank you, by the way. Yeah.
Dude, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
You're always doing that. He does that all the time. I'm trying to make you uncomfortable, but you're the fucking tooth fairy. We could all say it. He's helped us all, and he continues.
It did come through because he did these. So, and I just remember like, oh my, Alf's such a talented artist and creator, and we need help on this project. And I was like, get him to do it. And then he came in and offered to do it for free. And I was like, no, you're not doing it for free.
Right.
Well, maybe the first one.
Yeah. And honestly, dude, you've helped me so much in ways that you don't even know. I extend the offer every time. Anytime you need my help, whatever, I am there. So anytime.
It's been great.
Yeah,
I do want to tell this one story that I've told many people this story because it always was fascinating to me. And it showed how talented you are at skating. We used to skate Plan B ramp all the time. It was the only vert ramp, right? In San Diego. I was lucky that I had access to it. It was obviously Danny's ramp, but I would go there. I can't remember. I feel like I would go there. Joe Johnson and Kevin Staub.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty much it. We would go and we'd be there.
Ponytail squad.
But it was an office. And they just had a ramp in the back. So whatever. And it was 94-ish. No one's skating vert. and we would just be there all day working on tricks to no audience, to no, you know. And you came in one day, and I think you came in just to get stuff, and because it was Plan B and DC maybe.
Plan B and like Type A and like Edward Sebastian or something
So
like that.
he came in and he comes in the bag. He's like, "Oh, you guys are skating. What's up? Cool. Oh, maybe I'll skate a little bit." Puts on his pads, starts skating. We're all trying whatever. We're all on some mission. And then he just starts messing around with Nollie 540s. And then he starts spinning Nollie 540s off the flat wall. I've never seen anyone try it. And then he starts Nollie 540, grabs it. Within probably 10 tries, he made a Nollie Melon 540. NBD, never been done. We're all like, what happened? And then
You just got in the car and
takes
left.
off his pads. He's like, "Hey, good to see you guys. Bye." Like, what? You don't do that. You don't just breeze into vert,
Yeah, it's some bullshit.
do a trick no one's ever done easily, and then like, peace out.
I'm so stoked that you remember that, and I smile every time you tell the story because, like, no, that was, you know, I remember that, but that doesn't really exist anywhere. I think someone filmed it, but and I might
probably Sean Mortimer would used to go there and shoot me. Well, he'd always shoot me trying 900s, but there were a few tricks that I was on a mission for there, like Switch McTwist. I can't remember what else, but there were a few tricks that I really wanted to get done, and I just went on a mission to do. And then you came in, like I said, within 10 minutes and got that trick, and he probably shot it. I probably lost it on some high 8 tape, but it seared in my memory, and like I said, it just showed that how skilled you were because it was all street then.
Right.
That was the only vert ramp. You weren't there. I was there all the time. I know you weren't there, and you just came in like, "I remember skating vert.
Yeah.
See how this goes." I know. That was the thing. It was just like, how dare he?
Yeah.
Well, fives, believe it or not, I mean, you probably couldn't tell from some of the attempts yesterday. That was my go-to thing. You know what I mean?
You had melon fives all day.
I'd convinced myself that once I got a hold of the board, that was the hardest part I was going to land. You know what I mean?
Because he's Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah. I have this Lightfoot thing.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that lands and overturns because he pushed it too far.
No.
I have done that.
You have done that.
Yeah. Well, I chicken neck big time on a Hocus Pocus slam section where I was like, my whole neck almost came off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I feel like you did that once and learned your lesson. We just keep doing it.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Choice.
Then I started kind of doing it where it was more under rotated, where I'd come in and carve into my 540.
Yeah, you slide your landing.
That's yes.
You do that on one-footed 540s on the extension at McGill's? Is that what you did? You would do the one-footed 5 off the extension?
No, I would do the setup air off the extension, and then the
was?
Opposing wall was the 1-foot tail grab 540.
I remember it just looking like it's not right, and it just worked out so perfect.
540 1-footer.
I think
he's the king of that shit.
Tail grab 540 1-footer.
I think the big part about that was the way that Sturt filmed it. The way Dan Sturt, you're talking about that footage with the slow-mo and the clouds.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah, he was a talent for sure.
Yeah, he made it look more spectacular than probably what really was.
Shit,
yeah, that was you guys, like San Pasquale, that Sturt, that was lightning in a bottle. Like that was amazing. The footage, even though the technology wasn't there, it really was dramatic.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you remember, Dan Sturt used to drive around with the insulated, reflective, like aluminum. You know, it's like the insulated foam boards that have the aluminum foil or whatever you can get at the Lowe's or the Home Depot.
And shooting video and photos at the same time.
Yeah. And so he had the Ford Escort, the seats gutted out, the passenger seat gutted out, and every equipment you could possibly need in order to get your job done. Bolt cutters, like toolbox, shovels, like the reflective, two of the reflective things, which each were probably like 3 inches thick, strapped to his roof.
Yeah.
He was not playing.
Yeah, he was on another, like he would be in the mountains taking photos of you on the vert ramp, and then he'd show up like an hour later, and I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "Oh, I was just taking some photos from you in the mountains." You know what I mean? I'm like, "What? Why?"
Yeah, I think he used the sniper shots of your Fallbrook ramp.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. I used to always hear stories about him snipering shots, like, you know, because it was all up in the hills or whatever, and he'd be up.
Yeah, it didn't benefit him.
Right.
He just wanted to do it. He just wanted to
it was a mission. Yeah.
He just wanted missions.
Yeah. And the more subversive, the better.
Yeah, I thought he
was
was amazing. I thought he was like, to me, one of those people that brought the best out in me.
Yeah,
I had
me
so
too.
much respect for his ability.
Mhm.
So when he had little respect for me not making it immediately,
Mhm.
it just I grew up with that. Like if you don't like me for not doing stuff and I need to do it right now or I'm a pussy, I'll do it. Like he had it with I told Tony the story where he just pulled the film out and ripped it out, like pulled it all out and was like, well, that's pretty much the whole point of watching you. Like, are we doing it or are we doing it? I'm like, did you just throw the film? Fuck you, dude.
I had that same experience. I made a frontside cab revert because he was shooting it because I didn't want to let him down.
Right.
And that was in like 97, 98.
Yeah.
I was unable to do that again in my life. I would try it on this ramp endlessly. And I was like, how did I ever do that? It was because he was filming me. I was intimidated.
Right.
Yeah.
He felt like I
pressure.
felt like if I didn't make it in like 5 tries that he was gonna fight me. Like I felt a couple of times there, I was like, you better make this one because he's gonna get. I mean, what's the next level for your escalation here? You just ripped your camera in half because I didn't make it in 3 tries. Like, if I don't make it in 5, are you gonna punch me in the head?
It was twofold, right? Because he was intimidating, but then you also wanted the photo because you knew it was going to
It was
be
gonna be the
sick.
best.
Yeah.
Right.
So what was your peak trick or clip? Maybe stir, maybe not in those days. Like, how do you feel like, okay, I did that and I didn't ever expect to be able to do that?
I don't know. I think we were just talking about the tail grab 540 1 foot. I think that's something that
that's a
actually
heavy
comes to
one.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Front foot off, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Not Benihana tail grab.
No,
five.
yeah.
No.
Tail grab 5. Yeah.
Somebody do that?
No.
No, I did it.
Benihana 5?
Oh, Benihana 5.
No.
I don't remember no one doing that.
Uh-huh.
The rotation on that one.
Andy Mack, we're looking at you.
Yeah.
If
you at,
anybody
Mac?
was gonna do it, yep,
Yeah.
it would be him. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, that was amazing. What else though? I feel like that you had. There's so much stuff that would go by in videos that you did where it was like, wait, what?
Well, I started doing kickflip melons pretty early on. I was probably one
Yeah.
of the first ones to do kickflip melons
On
on vert.
Yeah.
I think I might even did it to fakie before I did it forward. But I remember trying those like kickflip melons before anyone was doing kickflip indies, and then I think that gave Danny the idea a week later to go to Andy's and do kickflip indies. That's the way that
That's
I remember.
how I first
Yeah.
tried to do kickflips on vert. Was kickflip melon because I figured that's the only way I'm going to
Mhm.
catch it.
Mhm. And then it was inspired by Matt Hensley as well. You know what I mean?
Oh
yeah.
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 But to know that you did those first, and then I don't think that they were respected as a trick until late 90s. Like I think I remember doing kickflip melon because if you were in the top 10 and you didn't do it, it was kind of like, what have you been doing? Like everybody's doing kickflip indie and then
Right.
they do a kickflip melon and they do all those other things. But I remember it was like, oh, you can officially do the kickflip melon. Oh, and so can you. But to know that, like, no, dude, like 15 years ago he did it. It's just you weren't ready to understand that he was doing it.
Yeah.
Because
And
I
then-
was a vert dude and I did not know that you did that.
Right.
But I think you probably did it in front of me. But to me, it was so far ahead that I was like, yeah, you did the kickflip or something.
But no, it was also, I think in those days, it was just considered more of a novelty to do any
Yeah.
sort of street or mini ramp maneuver on vert. It was like, well,
right.
you did it, but we're not throwing that into a line and throwing it, into a crazy trick or whatever. But
Yeah.
but it was a spark.
Right. Right.
And it was a movement. It really was. It was a movement. Like
Yep.
you guys came from an era that appreciated vert because it was this sort of staple,
Mhm.
but also took the street element and was able to combine it.
Well,
And-
that's the very thing that drew me to skateboarding to begin with. You know what I mean? And all things artistic, right? I looked at skateboarding, especially back in those days, as kind of a blank canvas. You know what I mean? There was so much to still be done.
Right.
There was, it was really fun to see, street skating merging with vert and all the new ideas that gave, birth to. For the longest time, like vert skateboarding had given birth to, street skating. And a lot of the street skaters were emulating what the vert guys were doing on curbs and, not rails at that time, but yeah, on curbs and stuff. And so at a certain point when, I guess,
but you had that foundational skill set. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
You had that
right.
to be able to skate vert and then take that technique into the.
Yeah, because there was a lot of vert dudes that were like, "Oh, let's do what street guys do on vert," and they all look like shit.
Because when I
one of them, but you were one of three, dude. It was like Colin, Danny, like even Bob. I was like, "Look, I get it, you're doing it, but it's very apparent that you're a vert dude." But
See, that's the
three
thing.
looked. I was like, "Dang, that looks like you're on a ledge."
When we started skateboarding, it was like, I didn't really label it as, I'm a vert skater, I'm a street skater, I'm a skateboarder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, put something in front of me and I'm going to try to, crack the code and,
It was very apparent that's how you were.
creative I can get, what I mean? And I kind of, in my mind and in my own little bubble, I thought that's just kind of how it was.
Yeah.
And so, it was natural me to, be able to, from the beginning to be able to skate street and vert, because
it's a rare person though. Like at the time, you just made sense to me because there you were existing. But now when I look back, I'm like, you were really weird. Like that, there was no
anomaly. Yeah.
Yeah, there was no guy.
But you still see it. That's what, it's been fun to see you come back into the fold.
Mhm.
I mean, I think Jason was probably one of the catalysts, but to see you skating now and I see you starting to get your confidence back.
Mhm.
But like when I saw you do back lip yesterday, I was like, oh, that's Alf.
Uh-huh.
That is like, that's the style. That's the light foot. And also like you were a little overturned, brought it back, no problem.
No
like
problem.
I could just see it's still there.
Yeah, you know what? I tell you what, man, I have so much fun doing it now, just kind of reconnecting with that old feeling again and challenging myself just to do some of the, stuff that might have been super easy for me back in the days. And, being around your guys' energy is just, it's super infective. So, I don't know. I'm trying to commit to at least a 1 day a week, vert regimen.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
I think it's best for us to do one a week because I find that you get too sore because we're not as used to hitting the ground like we used to. And we are older. That's just the bottom line of it all. But I feel like there's a certain amount that you can do, even at our age, where your body goes, oh, you're going to skate vert 4 days a week? Okay. But just give me a second.
Mhm.
I feel like it's the first couple of times I tried to skate 2 days in a row. I would go back to my house and I would get up in the morning and didn't want to wake my wife up, but I wanted her to see how fucked up I am from I didn't take a huge one. I just took several little ones and I would get up and I go, oh, somebody should film this. I feel like I've got like a rock tied to my balls and I can't, like, I was like, I'm like, must make it to the bath. It Epsom salts. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm like, nobody understands how fucked up I am right now. And then like 5 hours later, like I'm working and it's like.
Were you feeling that aftershock though?
Well, not me.
Damn it.
Here's my reasoning.
He just looks so limber all the time.
I know.
Well, here's where I think my reasoning is. It's like I started exercising again more consistently.
Okay.
And so I'm not, I was at the point yesterday and a little bit today trying to figure out how much of it is from working out versus skateboarding. And I think
from the pain, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking a lot of my soreness has been,
right,
from not working out.
You got to watch. I work out a lot too. I train MMA. I can't train MMA and then go skate. That's not going to work. I can get away with skating and then training, but I wouldn't skate and then spar people. I'll skate and then go hit pads where I'm tired. I'm sore. There's things in my body that start to stiffen up from like your body tries to compensate from the injury. So it's like all of a sudden I'm like, I can't pivot anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why can't I pivot? It's like, dude, because you hit your ass so hard yesterday that your hips are like, what are you doing to yourself?
You know what I find for me more than anything, like that what probably gets me more exhausted skating I feel like these days, because I mean, here's something that people might not know about me, is I have a fear of heights. You know what I mean? And especially when I'm so long removed from standing on top of a vert ramp. Anytime I'm here, I'm like scared of the railing on your vert ramp. So there's like, if you notice, you'll see me standing on the middle of the deck because I don't want to lean on no rail or whatever. So it's like I spend a lot of my time when I'm skating vert like these days in this weird tense like flight or fight mode where it's like I'm kind of tense, like I don't want to fall off the ramp. And if I'm dropping in, you could tell that I'm not just like leisurely just throwing my board out there and just kind of doing it. I'm still trying to get used to the muscle memory and
me too, dude,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you must overcome something because yesterday you were dropping in to 540 attempts. So
well, I mean, to be fair, I mean, it wasn't with any type of commitment. It was just a matter of like, let me
No,
just
but
let me just
that's
try
still,
to.
That's no small feat. That takes a level of confidence and overcoming fear to try that. So anyway,
Yeah, I guess
I understand what you're saying, but I'm just saying like you have reached some threshold now.
Yeah. I guess in my mind, the spinning a 5 was never the scary thing. I mean, I could, in my mind, I could do that padless and find my
Me
way
too.
to my feet or whatnot. It's actually, doing it in a way that says, okay, I'm close. I'm going to really commit to
Right.
one of these. And I was so far off. I was actually just trying to re-understand, how exactly my approach was. And I think that because I was dropping into it, kind of, it did something in my rotation that felt completely different than the way that I had used to do it.
Yeah,
Because
you landed one up on the deck.
yeah. It wasn't pretty. It was
But no,
funny.
they were good. They were good attempts. There was just one that was like.
What was funny? What was funny is like I sensed the concern in this guy's eyes, because it's like after I landed on the coping, whatever, I came up the stairs. He came to me like, maybe you should wait. I was like, maybe you're right.
No. I said no. You need to wait on the takeoff. I didn't say like wait.
Okay.
I
I
said
took
you
it
need to
wrong.
wait on the takeoff.
I
I
took-
would never say like just get out of here.
Alf.
We're gonna have to wrap
Pack
this up.
'em up,
Off.
yeah.
You're gonna need to sign this waiver quickly.
Alf. Did you get a waiver?
Landing on the deck that's
Yeah.
bad.
So
You
what
know?
I said was you need to wait to take off.
Oh, okay.
right,
Okay.
That's it. Clarification. All right. To bring this full circle.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if this is the first time we ever saw each other or that we were together, but there was a photo from Transworld magazine
Oh, yeah, okay.
of me going over the fence at Del Mar, doing the ollie over the fence, like
Yeah.
famous animal chin thing, and it's from underneath, right? Yeah, it's a fisheye. It's a fisheye from kind of
Yeah, it's
one side. You see the bottom of my board. It's a yellow board, no graphics.
so it's from underneath. Yeah.
And there's a kid going in the background.
Yep.
This dude.
So I was either 11 or 12.
So it was like
because-
87. No, it
Yeah.
was like 86 because Del Mar was still open. So it had to be 86.
You scared Del Mar?
No. So it was 86 because it was the 87 photo annual, I think, that it was in.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. No, so here's the thing. I didn't skate Del Mar. And the reason why I knew that I was either 11 or 12 on that one, because I think that to get a membership at Del Mar, you had to be 13 in order to
Join the Boy Scouts.
right
Right.
then and there. But if you were underage, what you had to do is you had to drive to Fallbrook, and because I think that's where the headquarters for the Boy Scouts were,
Oh, yes.
in order to join the Boy Scouts and get the insurance, this and that, whatever. So my dad had taken me to Del Mar from Oceanside or whatever. Just I'm all got my pads, got my I'm thinking, oh, I'm about to go get a membership at Del Mar. Unbelievable, like super just stoked or whatever, and got there and found out
Got
that
denied.
yeah, and so I unfortunately, my dad, he wasn't going to go from there to Fallbrook and all. He didn't have time to do all that stuff. So, I didn't get a chance to get a membership, but however, I did sneak in a couple of times and enjoyed full days of skating. And one of the times, and I used to always tell
Did you
Mark,
sneak in from the freeway side?
dude,
Like where the snake run was?
yes,
Yeah, because that's
yep,
the only place you get
Yep.
undetected.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's exactly where that little snake, the little sperm snake run
Yeah,
in the
that
back.
thing
Yeah.
was so dumb.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was everything. I mean, it was that anything there was just like, you got to understand. There's
No, but
this-
I don't mean it was dumb, but it was so tiny.
Yeah,
but,
no
but
one
you could
skated it.
sneak in there and go undetected skating that.
Right.
Like no one would even,
Oh.
it was
Right.
so far in the back.
it was very back.
Did you
on the
skate
corner
the
of it.
big bowl?
I took a little kick turn runs or whatever, but
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't at the point where I could really skate,
Yeah.
transition at that time. I think I really kind of started learning how to skate or kind of getting, my marbles, into skating vert was Tobin's in Fallbrook,
Oh, yeah.
the Fallbrook ramp.
That round was good.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I
I
remember that.
the cool thing is I had met Tobin. I was street skating the pier in Oceanside, and he was, street skating with a couple of buddies, whatever, and he was telling me about his ramp, and he had invited me, to go skate his vert ramp. And I was stoked because I'd show up just kind of, by myself, and him and his family were so gracious that would just let me skate, and I'd skate there till night, and then have my dad would come pick me up, and I'm like, and I'm thinking about it, I'm like, Fallbrook, first off, I think was the headquarters of the KKK at the time.
Yeah, the dude, David Duke.
Was
there.
it
What?
Dave or no? Tom fucking Metzger.
Oh, that was
Tom
it.
Metzger.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So anyways,
I'm glad I don't know his name.
right. So that was always, in the back of my mind as well, because it's like, Tobin's was kind of in the woods a little bit. And so I'm thinking like, oh, this ain't where they have fucking clan meetings or anything like this. Or whatever, kind of nervous.
Yeah, I didn't
being
find
like
that until I bought a house there. And then people were just like, dude, you're putting Fallbrook on the map because the only other people know about it is the KK lives here. And I was like, he does? What are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, because I only knew Fallbrook had a really cool ramp, or Tony lived there.
Right. So
that thing you said about the Boy Scouts, that was actually my dad.
Oh.
So Del Mar was closing
Uh-huh.
because they couldn't afford insurance.
Okay.
And my dad, he had some connection to the Boy Scouts. I can't remember what it was, but I think he knew someone, and they were looking to increase their membership. And he's like, well, what if you guys provide insurance to the skate park? And they said, well, yeah, that just means they have to join the Boy Scouts. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
Like, you just have to sign paper that you are a Boy Scout.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to meetings. You don't have to go to any outings or anything. And so they were like, oh, yeah, awesome. That'll increase our membership by this many a month.
Oh.
And so they provided insurance for like a year.
Oh, that's interesting.
But then I didn't realize for someone like you who's underage, you had to go all over town getting the forms and stuff.
Yeah. And so, by the time I turned 18, then 13, I'm sorry, it already shut down. But I did get a chance.
So every time you skated, you were there without permission.
Without permission, skating all day or whatever. Sick. One of the times, and I used to always remind him this every time I saw him, Mark Waters, rest in peace. He used to work there or whatever. I remember one of the times skating all day or whatever. And then, finishing up like last couple of hours at the front of the freestyle bowl, which is one of my favorite,
the reservoir.
That was my favorite thing, kind of launch ramping off the little corner part and on all the slides or whatnot. I remember, skating that thing, having a good time, just about wrapping up my session or whatever. Mark comes out like, what the fuck are you doing here? Where's your sticker or wristband or whatever, whatever they were using for that, to indicate that you had paid to get in and whatever. I'm like, sorry. He's like, get the fuck out of here. Whatever. And I used to always remind him of that, whatever. And, we used to have a pretty good laugh every time I'd see him. But
it was funny. Mark was so awesome, but there were a few employees there that were just like, whatever. Yeah. Like we would just run amok, sneaking into the high ball, bouncing on the trampoline, skating around. And most of the employees were just like, I don't know this place.
Right.
I figure you guys would be the less annoying of the older crew, like the Dwayne Peters and people like that. I would feel like if you're staff at Del Mar, they would do nothing but shit on you all day, right? Like those guys seem so angry all the time. I wasn't even around for that.
There was the stoner crew, and they would all hotbox in their car outside. Those were the ones that were more problematic to the whole surrounding, because there was a driving range and there was a miniature golf course.
Oh, okay.
It was all in the same area and an arcade. And so there's these, kids smoking weed right out the front doors, and it was like, you guys. I mean, I didn't care, but that was the vibe.
It's not the greatest look for the community.
So if we were in the skate park, they were just like, yeah, whatever, keep them in there. But I remember there'd be a boombox, and do you remember there was always a boombox right at the gate entrance?
Ooh, I don't remember that.
So
playing music every time, or just
but always like hardcore punk music and stuff like TSOL Code Blue. I don't know if you know the lyrics to that one. Not a family-friendly song.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Stuff like that. Where I remember thinking like, is that cool? Can they? And then finally, I think of all the people, Owen Nieder, who was like the punkest dude, he came over and was like, dude, you can't play that song.
Right.
Come on. I can't remember whose boombox it was.
That's why I can relate to Owen Nieder. As a crazy person who's been dark his whole life, I always had a little bit of my stepmother installed some common sense and for the public and for children, even at my craziest hour. Like I'd be like, even if I was raging and out of control, if kids showed up, I'd be like, oh, I'm evicting myself from this room. Like, you kids should not see my face under this amount of drugs. Like, I'm leaving. And same as if there's any Australian guy that's like, fuck this, fuck that. And I'm like, hey, man. And there's kids at that table, and they're like, so? And I'm like, so? That's like a mum and their kids, and they're probably intimidated by us. And just like, can you just shut the fuck up for like half an hour until we leave? And it would always be, you are telling me to not cuss. And I'm like, yeah, just like right now for the kids. I always had a different one for that.
You kind of escaped the party scene. You can.
What's
I mean,
that?
you kind of escaped the party scene, or
Yeah,
skirted it.
Yeah, how'd you do that?
I never really was a too
A
big
drinker.
of a party guy or a drinker.
That's what it was. You
I-
probably
I-
smoked weed, right?
Yeah, I did. You know what? And I feel like, as funny as it sounds, I mean, it's ridiculous to even say, but I feel like the fact that I was introduced to weed kept me out of a lot of other things.
I believe
You know what I
this.
mean? Because it did a couple things. I never did cocaine or any hard drugs, whatever, because it's like I liked weed so much that I thought, man, I don't want to do something and like anything else
Yeah.
that bad, And the same thing with alcohol was like I never really liked the taste of alcohol. I mean, I got to a point where I can be a social drinker here and there, whatever, and I even have a pretty high tolerance for it, but I never really was a big drinker
It
at
was
all.
the perfect angle because as a guy that was just trying to party and find other people that wanted to party, you smoked weed all the time.
Mhm.
So it wasn't, I never felt the need to be like, come on, man, loosen up.
Right.
Like, I'm like, this dude's totally loose and
Chill.
doing whatever
Well,
he wants.
so think about it. A
He
dude
doesn't
that-
need to do
a
shots.
dude that just sits there and designs graphics and and shoes and whatever. That's like the perfect thing for me
Yeah.
because it's like I spend most of my time in front of at a desk like drawing or designing something. So it just kind of keeps me in place and keeps me focused on what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. As odd as it sounds, I feel like it's kept me out of a lot of trouble because it's like after I smoke something, it's like all I really want to do is kind of hang out and draw and be creative. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like, I don't want to go party and
yeah, it was
You
a
know
good
what I mean?
move, dude.
I know
Yeah.
you've been solid through and through.
Yep.
Always reliable. Always creative.
Yep.
And hey, we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
hey, I appreciate being here.
Everybody
dude.
skates. Alphonzo Rawls. Legend. Like I'm
Savale
gonna
shoes.
end it with an Aussie accent. Legend, mate.
These shoes, you bastard. Savales, all right?
Check us out.
He's got tons of different stuff. So it's really good stuff too. I love wearing them. They're proper shoes. They feel good.
No,
You're
I
a champ.
appreciate you guys both. It is an honor to be here. Not only do I appreciate you guys as individuals, but this is like my favorite podcast. I haven't missed any episodes.
Oh,
and every
thanks,
yeah,
man.
it's
Really?
like no
That's
doubt.
amazing.
You
Yeah,
think you'll
like
check the one with you on it?
absolutely.
See, we
Yeah.
cut out. Let's see how late it comes out. No, you're right on time.
Right on.
All right, like and subscribe and
Yeah.
get everybody skates. Get everybody. How do you
I don't know.
like and
I-
subscribe and purchase? There you go.
I don't know if you can even see it. It's white on white reflective ink.
No.
Google.
See ya.